I'm Sandy Babb. Welcome to my studio. And for the kickoff for the Jolly Gingerbread Men Junk Journal Kit, but we're going to go beyond the junk journal. We will be making a journal project with this, a gift project, but I wanted to see how could we use these images and stuff from this kit, not just in their traditional way. This is a mini kit. It's to make Christmas cards, Christmas tags, and recipe cards. And I will show you what comes in the kit. You get, this is a completely hand-painted, I sketched these and they're hand-painted. You're going to get a set of the blue stationery and a set of the pink stationery that comes with an envelope, a folding card. Sorry, I had all this kind of clipped and out of my way. A folding card that fits inside the envelope. One of each design. I guess I shouldn't have clipped these, but I was afraid I'd just knock it all over the place and make a big mess. You get a recipe size card, or this could be a flat journaling card, or it could be a mat for photo. We'll go over all that later. You get 4 hand-painted background pages. So this is the stationery set right here. You get a blue tag and a pink tag. Oops. So there's your base sets. You get a peppermint frame. And you could go in and cut the inside of this out or leave it like this. There's a peppermint frame that comes with it. You get 4 background papers. There's our 6x6 papers. Oops. This one and this one. These are the patchwork papers. And then these are the polka dot papers. So you get 4 of those in the kit. And let me just grab 2 of the full sheets. I've already cut this out. So let me grab the full sheets to show you what you get on this. This is one of the fussy cuts. All the little gingerbread men and some of their cookies and cookie baking supplies and candy canes. And then the other one is all the candies that come along with it. The Gingerbread House. I'm sorry, these are stuck together. Gingerbread House, some holly and ornaments and candies, gumdrops, all that. So that's the mini kit right there, just those things. And I've already gone ahead and cut all of this out. I'm going to leave some of the paper here, and I want to leave the cutouts here. The rest of this we are not going to need for this portion of the project, so I'm just going to move that aside. And I'm going to tell you what else you're going to need for this project. Sorry about the stepping away, but I can't, my space is pretty small here. So we're going to want our fussy cuts already. Got those done, got my paper aside. You're going to need a piece of, I'm using craft card, but you could just use cardstock. A piece of coordinating paper that goes with, we're going to be working with one of the little houses first. So just something that kind of matches that. Doesn't, you know, have to be perfect or anything, because this is going to be the back. So you're going to need that. You will need a piece of foam core, just a little scrap of foam core. You need it to be, let's see, this size is about perfect. Let me just measure this. This is about a 7 by 3.5 piece or something like that. Little piece of foam core. You are going to need scissors, a pencil, a cutting tool, which I've got either an X-Acto or a craft knife here, a paintbrush, some sort of a little sanding block, some brown paint of your choice, some glitter. I have some iridescent glitter, some snow glitter, and some ultrafine clear glitter. You're going to want some crafting tools. I've got a wire cutter, a round nose plier, and a couple of the needle nose pliers. I need some wire. This is a, what gauge is this? 15 or 26 gauge. There it is at the bottom. This is just a real thin wire, 26 gauge. I'm going to use some jump rings to go with it, and I chose to use gold. You may want silver, whatever. And I'm going to use some, just to make my life easier, I'm going to use a few of these already made head pins. Now you could do this with wire and make them yourself. You don't have to have the jewelry part. I have it. It makes it easier. You're going to want some little trims, some little, that remind you of frosting. So just some little white or off-white trims, or you could use color trims, whatever you want. A cutting mat. I've got my small cutting mat here. I am going to be using some ink. I'm going to be using some potting soil, the Ranger Archival ink. And you might want on hand embellishments, excuse me. These are some little of the minis from the Christmas section at Hobby Lobby that were 50% off, some peppermints, and these are little tiny ornaments. I have some buttons and some of those little stick-on pearls. I have some beads of various sizes and some little seed beads. Here, some little white seed beads and some snowflakes, little plastic ornament snowflakes. Anything you want to embellish with, basically. And I'm going to move some of this stuff to the side because we are not going to need all this right away. So, you're going to need some adhesives. Now, I have a whole slew of adhesives here. I've got tacky glue. What is this? That's clear gel glue, Fabritac, tombow, glue stick, double stick tape. You know, your favorite, whatever your favorite, you know, sticky tool is. And then we are going to need some other embellishment piece to go on the back. And what I did was just went and robbed my Christmas decorations, and I just have all these snowflakes, and these are just like Dollar Tree, you know, like those cheap plasticky snowflakes. And then there's some little acrylic pieces, you know, in there, beads and things like that. So what I did was I took one of the snowflakes like this and one of those little acrylic snowflakes, and I'm going to use those for my embellishment. So I'm going to put those aside also because we don't need them right now. What we are going to actually start with, I want a little piece of paper, some paper I can glue on. What we're actually going to start with right now that you need is going to be your cutting tool, not tool, however I was saying that, a pencil, and your sander. That's what we're going to need first. So we're going to take out one of our little gingerbread houses, our little house here. Now I'm going to kind of square that bottom off and make sure it's kind of flat. That's the side. And you can get a sheet of this foam core at Dollar Tree for $1. Let me push myself out. I'm so bad about that. I'll try to come in and remember. I'm terrible at filming. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I tend to get out of the thing, and I try not to. I usually put myself a piece of tape, and then I just wander past that tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of cut this in half to stack it on top of each other to glue it. And actually, I don't even think I'm going to use glue. I'll probably just use some of this score tape. This is going to have some other adhesion to it, so I'm just going to stick a couple kind of right here in the middle and adhere that. And I want to see which sides are really flat. I'm going to squish it together like this so I know that they're even on the bottom. Not worried about the rest of it, but I do want the bottom fairly even right there. Okay, and now I'm going to put my little house on here. And I'm going to let that little arch there just kind of straighten off. That's going to be covered up anyway, so it's not going to matter. Trace around your little house. Now, if you're brave and you're a really good cutter, you could just go ahead and glue and cut around this house. I don't trust myself to do that. I already went out of lines, too. Scribble that one out so I know. Okay. Then, I want you to take your craft knife or your X-Acto knife. I'm never good with these X-Acto knives. Start making shallow cuts to go down. Just slow and steady. I've had these things, make sure that's tight, because I've cut myself. I'm better with that big old bulky craft knife, honestly. I've cut myself so many times with one of these. And I'm just going to keep going down until I get all the way through. Keep my hand out of the way. And y'all really don't want me to faint on camera. The last time I cut myself, I fainted dead away. I know that's crazy, but I don't know what happened. Just fainted dead away. Okay, I'm almost through. Okay, I feel the mat, so I'm through. Okay, then I'm going to cut straight out and just get this excess off. And you know what? I'm going to my trusty big boy. Get that excess off there. And we're just going to keep carving until we get all the way around this and you get it cut out. Now you can kind of, you know, carve that down a little bit, but this is where you're going to come in with that little sanding thing and kind of just go away from that edge toward the center, you know, and just kind of even some of that out. Don't worry about if it's all nice and neaty, indeedy, because actually we're going to cover a lot of that. It's not really going to show. We just want that thickness of a cookie. Now you could do this flat. If you wanted to, you can make this totally flat. I just wanted it to have some substance to it. Like that little paper's trying to come off back there. I'm just going to peel it off because I'm going to put something on the back anyway. I just want to make sure that I've got it kind of, okay, pretty good. Now the next step is I want you to take some of your whatever your background paper and your cardstock is and glue. You don't even have to do a whole sheet. You could do a half a sheet. I really should put a trash can over here by me instead of walking across the room. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'll just cut it down. You don't need, let's see, I'm going to kind of just lay my house there and see about how much I need. Maybe about a third of the sheet will probably do the whole project. You can always do more if you need to. But I want you to glue this paper to this. Just glue the whole thing down. I'm just going to use a glue stick and really just, you know, sandwich these two papers together. And when you know it, I think I've already almost glued this whole glue stick out. I might have to get another one. Oh, this is enough for this. I don't really need to buy the big, heavy size of those because I go through those little glue sticks pretty quick. See if I can get my paper on there. It's not on there perfect, but that's okay. Just get your paper glued down to that. And this is prepping for some of our back pieces. And it's good to already have that prepped. I don't see my little card, my smoothing card that I normally have here. I'm wondering what happened to them. Oh, here they are. It's like I normally have a little card to kind of smooth that down with. Okay, there we go. Got that prepped. We've got this prepped. So the next step is we're going to take some brown paint and a paintbrush. And I want you to paint this entire little edge and just a little bit over the edge. It's going to be covered, but some of it may show, and to keep it from the white being showing, I want it to look like a cookie. And I'm using some Waverly matte finish chalk paint in hazelnut. And you are just going to dab down in there. Just get a blob of paint and kind of dab. It doesn't need to be super smooth, and I'm just going to go along the edges here because I want to make sure that if any of that shows, that it's covered, because this is supposed to look like a nice big thick decorated cookie. Put the lid on the paint and just lay him on top of my paint back here and let him dry. So we're going to be using this. I want you to find a candy cane, just one of the hooked candy canes. The house out of the way. I think I want to use one of the little, let's see, one of the small holly bits, a holly bit, maybe the small gumdrops, maybe a little peppermint, and I do want to use a little gingerbread man. Now, we're going to have to separate these two, so pick out the double and, I don't know, maybe a cookie. Let's see, maybe a cookie or two. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a cookie. Okay, I think that's all we'll use on this one. So what we're going to have to do is separate these two gingerbread men. So I'm just going to cut this one completely out and put him away, and we're actually just going to use this little partial guy, okay? So just kind of fussy cut those apart. And actually, I'll tell you what would be easier is if you go ahead, and I should have done that myself. Duh. Cut once. Let me get a sheet of paper. Let me show you something a little bit easier than what I'm doing. Do what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. It just occurred to me that I would only have to cut this out once if I would do, see, this is what happens when you design on the fly. You never know what's going to go awry. So let's back this up just a little bit, because we can do this in a quicker step. Since I've already cut him, I'll go ahead and cut him twice, but since I've already cut him apart. But if you will take your little embellishments and your candy cane, and I guess I was doing that because I thought I would save paper, but I'm like, I don't know that you're saving anything, really, by doing that. Just clip it kind of close. That way you are kind of saving paper, but, you know, we don't, it is going to be a Christmas thing. We don't need to be Scrooge, do we? We do not. So I'll just kind of clip them close, and that way I don't feel like I don't know why I'm even bothered about, you know, oh, I might waste the paper. It's paper. They make more of it. Isn't that funny how you get, you know, like that sometimes? Maybe it's age. Maybe I'm getting old. This one's kind of close. I tried not to get these super close on this page, but I guess I did. Okay, that one. Go ahead and cut this apart so I'm flopping around. And I guess I'll go ahead and do the gingerbread man since I've done him. But you could cut these two out and go ahead and glue them on here, okay? And a cookie. But I guess since I already cut him out, well, I don't know. I'll just go ahead and do it. I can use him for something else. That way I'm kind of doing it more the proper way. It would save twice cutting. Because if you're like me, you don't want to do all the fussy cutting 2 and 3 times. Or maybe you're lucky and you own a scan and cut and you don't have to. I had my eye on one. I've got my eye on one. Maybe by the time this films, I'll have one, and then that will do all my fussy cutting for me. That would be amazing. Okay. Flip this over. Make sure you leave enough for this house. But you're going to lay the house face down to do this, okay? Make sure you leave enough for your house. Glue these down on your paper. Then cut them out so they are already backed. See, that's what I was trying to get to. So we don't want to do anything with this one, just put it back aside. But I just laid it there to make sure I had enough room. So I want to glue these down, and then this way we're only fussy cutting one time instead of twice. And these are already backed with your paper. My paper's not directional, so I can just lay it however you might want to lay it. You know, if you're using a specific paper, you might want to look at your designs and see how it lays. This is just the back. I like things finished out on the back. You don't even have to do this step if you don't want to. I happen to like things to be finished out front and back. Like I said, you do not have to do this step. You can skip it if you want to. Too much glue on there. But I like to do this when I'm sandwiching things, and I was like, why did I not do it that way? I was making things very hard on myself. Okay, and now we're going to cut those out. Leaving enough of this for my house. So I've got a piece for my house there. And when I cut these little guys, like I said, I'm gonna just cut. I want this little one here. Stuff stringing off my old crafty scissors. So I'm going to put him back in the pile because I really only want this little fella right here. You're like, why are we using only a half of a gingerbread man? Well, because. Let's get all these fussy cut out. And then we are going to ink the edges, front and back, to just get rid of that sort of white papery edge. I'm not real fond of that. Getting back to our project now that I've got all that cut, we are going to ink, and then we're going to start some assembly here. Okay, we have all of our little pieces ready. And our little house is dry. So the next thing we want to do is, this is the way our house is going to go this way. This piece will be on the front. So you want to lay your house down, put your paper face down, lay your house down on there and trace around it and cut it out to fit that back section. Sorry, there is a lot of cutting on this project. A lot of cutting. I'm trying to get as close as I can to that. It doesn't have to fit just, you know. Oh man, I gummed up my pencil. This is my favorite pencil too. Be gumming that up. Maybe I'll trace around. Yeah, I got it around it enough. I guess some of that wasn't dry. And I'm going to cut that out to go on my back and ink it also. And if the edges don't fit exactly, you can sand a little bit with that sanding block again. And it's okay if a little bit of the brown shows, and that's exactly why I had you go ahead and paint that, so that it would be okay if something is not perfect on there. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and ink that. ahead and ink my little house. If I can pick it up. And then we will start our assembly. The prep part is always the longest part of these projects, isn't it? It's always about what you have to do to prep to get ready to do the project. Now you could have actually used some of this paper too, but I don't know why. I just grabbed that pink paper. So, okay, so now I'm going to use some glue, and I think I'll just use this Fabritac. It sticks pretty quick. And I want to glue my front and back of my house down. Oh, my glue is stuck. This stuff is a love-hate relationship, I tell you. It is really a love-hate relationship. I love it and I hate it. I don't like the way it smells. I love the way it sticks. I don't like the way it shoots out the top of your container. That drives me more than a little crazy. Where's my little smoothing card to kind of smooth that down? Hopefully without sticking myself to the thing. Okay. It's pretty good. Flip it over. Get that bubbly glue coming out of there. Y'all excuse me, I need to open the door. It is very hot here. The sun is beaming right in on my back. It's just getting very, very warm. Hopefully my dog is not in the house barking her head off so she won't drive us crazy and hear it, because she doesn't like it if I go outside and she's not with me. Yep, there she is. You might can hear her. That's exactly what she's doing. And they're barking. Okay, and I don't know what that noise was. Sounds like a piece of equipment or something. Okay, so now we have our cookie assembled. We have the front and the back. Now, I want to go ahead and, now you don't have to trim your cookie. You can leave your cookie just like it is, like this. But I want to put some little trim around the edge of my cookie to make it look like icing. So, let's see what I've got here. I have another piece of GIMP that I think I'm going to use it. That's one-sided. Let me get this little GIMP. I'm going to go ahead and use that white GIMP. And I'm going to use the Fabritac. Get my little lunchbox full of ribbon here. And I'm going to use this. And what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to get a pair of better scissors, because I know those won't cut fabric. Even that little piece off there. And I want to, oh, my glue is coming out. Let me go ahead and put glue around this edge, because it's like slathering out. It's just making itself a little mess here. Like, could you please? I'm not ready for that part. I'm going to start it right there at the top of the house and go this way. Now it's like, okay, I'm done spewing. You can put me back now. Get glue all the way around back to that top. And I'm going to start my ribbon. Where is that lid? Maybe if I cap that real quick it will stop. I doubt it. It'll probably just spew. But I'm going to start right here where this is going to meet at the top, because this will be covered. And I'm just going to apply this white GIMP, and it's going to look like a little bit of frosting. Kind of push it down in there with my fingernail. And mold it as I go. Oh, there's some paint down in there. It's okay. And go across the bottom, up the side, kind of get in that little crease there. Same thing here. Just kind of pressing it down with my thumbnail. A little bit of paint's coming through, but it's okay. I guess I should have let it dry a little bit longer. Back up to the top and snip it where it meets. There we go. Now, take my scissor and push that in there a little bit in those little areas where it wants to come up. There. I'll trim a little bit of that back. Now before that all kind of gets dry, and I'll kind of keep kind of smushing it to make sure that everything's down there. Now see, I've got the gimp all the way around. Get rid of this lunchbox. Sorry about that noise. I want to take one of those little pins from the, and you can do this with wire too. You can make yourself a little piece of wire. I'm going to use an eye pin because this makes my life a little easier. I'm going to use 2 of those little eye pins to begin with. And I'm going to clip them down a little bit. They're a little long. And I'm just going to kind of pinch it and clip it right below where my hand is and kind of get that off. So I've got 2 little pins. I wonder if I need to come in closer for this. I can try to come in a little bit closer. There we go. I've got 2 little pins this size. And what I want to do is put them into that foam like this in the top. And I'm going to put a little glue at that base. And I want to do it in the center at the bottom. I kind of want to get them centered. Kind of look at that and see. That looks maybe centered. Oh, I have such trouble with small work now. It drives me crazy. I'm just going to use a little bit of this aqua glue. It's clear. I just want a little bit of clear glue so that when I push that down, it just gives it a little bit of extra hold. It's not going to come out, but you know, that's a little off center, Sandy. Oh well, we're going to leave it there. I'm not going to mess with it. And I'm going to put a little bit of that aqua glue there too. Just a little bit of clear glue to kind of seat that. Okay? And let that kind of sit and dry. Now, this is going to be the fun part. This is the decorating part. We're going to see how we want to embellish this. I think I want to use, I know I want to use some beads. Let's see. I'm thinking I might want to cover that with one of these little peppermints. Like, I think I want to put that on there. So I'm going to take these nippers and try to nip this little plastic piece. There's some little plastic sticking up. So I think I want to put that like a real little candy there. And then I think I want to use a bead for my doorknob. And maybe put some little beads. Like, you could either enhance this design with some paint or something like that. So I'm kind of deciding what I want to use there. I think I want to do a candy cane and maybe just outline some of this with some of the little seed beads. That might be cute. And do a bead door handle. Okay, so I know I'm going to do that. Got an extra, oh, I just dumped beads out. I've got an extra little piece of paper here, and I'm going to go ahead and glitter the roof. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Because sometimes things don't want to stick to glitter. Okay, I want to do my roof first, and I've got this glitter. It looks a little chunky like snow. So I think I want to do it first, and I'm just going to use this wet glue here. Am I even in frame? No. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to stay in frame. I'm going to use this wet glue and kind of outline my roof. Just, you know, spreading glue all inside my roof area where the snow is. And I'm going to use this chunky snow, and I'll probably do it twice. I'll probably let it dry and then do it again so it's really thick in that area. And then I'm going to do the little chimney area too. Kind of just fill that whole thing in. Now you could use stickles on this. You can use glitter. You can use sequins. Whatever's in your stash. However you want to decorate your little house, the front of your house. do that. Just whatever strikes your fancy. So for right now, and I'll pull that to me again, I'm going to try to, I think I need to extend my camera. I think that's what I'm going to have to tell my husband. I need for him to extend my camera out, because I think that's part of my problem. I have to kind of reach to craft like this, and it's awkward. And I think that's why I get out of frame. Now, look how cute that is with all the little sparkles. Okay, let's load that glitter back in there. And then I think I'll put on some of the embellishments. And like I said, I'll probably come back. I may sparkle that twice. It depends on if that stays thick looking or not. So let's do some of the embellishing. I'm going to use some of these little tiny seed beads right here, and I'm going to use a, let's see, what am I going to use to push those over there? I got a pen over here, a needle. That one will work. Just a pen or a needle or something that I can kind of direct those into the glue. And I think I'm going to outline the top of my windows. I'm just putting a little bit of glue there, and beneath my windows with some of the white seed beads. And I can go ahead, I know I'm going to put that piece of candy on there. I can go ahead and stick that on too. Let it be drying, because I do like the big peppermint there. Okay, I'm going to use some of these little white seed beads and kind of just drop them on there and move them. I'm going to put 5 above here. I'm just kind of pushing those into that. Oh my, I've got little stuff stuck to me. You can kind of put your needle inside that little hole of the seed bead and guide it where you want to. If there's an easier way to do some of this, y'all please tell me in the comments. So, you know, you could have. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? There. Okay, I got them all in there. Kind of want to push them into a little arch. And have a little brow over my window. Do that again over here. Okay, I got all that tedious little beading done, and now I'm going to add a doorknob, and I'm going to add a larger gold seed bead for my doorknob. There. And this is ready to sit aside and let it dry until the next step. I'm going to go over on this little gingerbread. I want to go over his white areas and kind of highlight them. Now, if you had some, instead of using this seed beads, you could have used like that puff paint or something like you paint the t-shirts and stuff with. I just want to highlight his little icing, so to speak. So his icing is a little more prominent. You could do this with paint, a Posca. Here you can see me just doing it with a gel pen. And I think I want to do the same thing on this cookie. Just kind of whiten up that those lines a little bit. Just adding a little bit of paint to them to kind of make them stand out just a little bit more. There we go. Gets a little bit. There we go. And I may do the same thing around the windows and the door here. Just whiten it a little bit. Just to get it a little bit brighter. Kind of make that pop. Kind of go around the edge of this door a little bit. Some happy little birds twittering out there. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do on those. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to add some little trim to the bottom of my, around the base of my house. Like a little trim, you know, little gingerbread-y trim. Let's see, I think I'll use maybe this little thin trim. And I'm just going to go all along the bottom and let it hang off the edge like that. Okay, so we're just going to glue that on. Get a clean cut there on the end. And I know I'm kind of working wet on wet here, but I don't think I'll bump it. I think it'll be okay. If my glue ever goes down there. I was going to leave it upside down, but then it starts leaking everywhere. There we go. Then all across the bottom, around the sides, and across the back bottom. There. There we go. And I think I'll start this on a side here on the back, right here, so it ends kind of right there. Just going to press that in. Try not to move any of my beads. You might want to let yours go dry in between. I'm trying to speed this tutorial along, so I'm not letting things dry. Like maybe I should. Okay. Here we go. Press that down. Make sure I got a nice bond there. No extra glue sticking out. Here we go. Pretty good. Okay, now I do want to thicken this glitter on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and do another layer of that. I'm going to go back in with that tombow glue, and I'm going to do a thicker layer on top of this because I want this to be really thick. So I'm just going to put a little more glue right on top of that glitter to thicken it. I've had this glitter. I think I want to use some of the ultrafine glitter on here too to make the whole thing be glittery. So I'm going to take a little bit of my tacky glue and a little bit of water. To make a little finer, thinner glue. Now if you have some thinner, like I know some of the Liquitex, some of that is a lot thinner. You can do it then. Well, you know, I could do the glue part all at once, I guess. But I'm just going to take a little bit of this tacky glue. It doesn't have to be much. Just a little squirt. And a little dribble of water just to thin it. That is not a dribble, is it? My door is open so I can just use the end of the paintbrush and just make a thin glue mixture. I may have to add more glue to that. I think that's going to be too thin because I got too much water. I did pour a little bit out, but that tacky glue is very tacky. You want to thin glue, even just like an Elmer. I don't have any out here. If I had some Elmer school glue, it would even work to just thin it just slightly. I just want a little bit of, little tiny bit of, because I don't want the glue real thick. I'm going to take this little tiny brush. I'm going to go ahead and do my house. I'm going to brush in those little areas that are showing that don't have that chunky glitter. And then I'm going to take some of this ultra fine stuff and put it on there, those areas where I brush it. And that's going to give it a frosting, but it's not going to be too heavy. Like this is because you want that real fine, thin glitter, because you want to still see, and I don't want to go over my beads and stuff. That's why I'm doing this thin down and painting around it. I'm not going to go around my beads. I just want it where the paper is. On the window, on the candy cane, on the house. You know, that kind of thing. I don't really want to go over my beads. Now, if you want to glitter your beads, you go right ahead. You know, nothing against that. It's just not what I want to do. Okay. And then I'm going to glitter over that and leave a fine little mist. I love, because see how it starts looking, you can see the difference between the sides. Starts looking like one of those putz houses or something, those vintage little houses. I love how that looks. And like I said, I'm just going to paint in here, anywhere that's not glittery already or beaded. And I will get that door in a second. Make sure I get all this. And then I'm going to put this out in the sunshine and let it sit a little bit to dry. And I love that this is that real fine glitter. Oh, I love it. I love how sparkly it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Okay, now, well, we're going to put that sparkle aside, and we're going to sparkle up everything else. Okay? I want you to sparkle up all these little pieces that you cut. Okay, everything is dry now, so I'm going to move all that back out of the way. And we're going to work on the little dangle part on the bottom. Glitter is everywhere. It has run amok out here. Okay, let me find my wire and stuff. Everything is kind of buried under here. And then we'll be able to put this little thing together. Got some beads and some wire. Got my tools and my jump rings. Okay. I'm going to take some wire. Oh, this is that roll of wire that got messed up. Last time I used this, I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm trying to use this wire. See if I can get it out. This is 26 gauge wire, and I'm just going to get a little piece of it out. Excuse me. Still trying to get a sore throat. Okay. I've clipped off a little piece of the wire here. I know that's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can put something behind it. Maybe you can. There go my hands. They're not able to lift anything. Maybe if I put a piece of paper here, you can see it a little bit better. Put this little white piece of paper in the middle. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and I'm just going to pinch that in there like that. I'm going to pull that down and around where I have made a loop on there. See how there's a loop? It's around the thing. And I'm going to just pull one of these straight, and with this one I'm going to wrap it just 2 or 3 times. Oh gosh, my wire wrapping's not even closed. I'll squeeze that back together. Wire wrap it kind of tight there, and I've got a little loop there. I'm going to cut that off and use this to kind of straighten up my there. Now I hope you can see that there's a little wired loop there. Now I want to decide how I want this dangle to look. Move this and put the paper down. Where we're kind of working on this paper, I think we can see it better. With my beads, I'm going to connect these with a jump ring. You can wire it directly on there, but a jump ring it makes my life easier at this point with my hands. I can't always do some of the fine wiring and stuff like I used to. So I just want to decide how I want my little dangle to be. What kind of colors do I want? Do I want a big cracked bead on there? Do I want something more pink? Do I want to add some of the blue too? You know, do I want to add the pink and the blue to make a little, you know, I don't know, maybe I like it with the longer one on top, with the pink and the blue, which is kind of pretty. And possibly even a little gold one in there to cap that off, or gold in between. Let me grab some more gold beads. I didn't pull that many out of this. This is like a little mixture. It's got gold and white and tan. These little glass beads. Pull a couple gold ones out. There we go. That has two little holes in it, but I think it'll be okay just to leave it with the snowflake dangling at the end. And not put something else on the end. I kind of want the snowflake to be the end. So I guess I'll just start playing with the beads a little bit. And see how long I want to make this. I'm going to put on a gold. And then my blue. And then a gold, and this may be too long when I do it this way, a pink and a gold, and then the snowflake. I'm trying to see where the holes are. I'm like, where are the holes in that snowflake? I know there are some. I want to see if that looks too long to me. Just gonna lightly loop it. If that does that look like, you know, too long? Look up in the camera. I actually kind of like it like that. But the jump ring will add just a little bit. So I've just strung those on there. Put it in the hole of the snowflake. I'm bending that back around. And I'm just going to wrap that wire right under that gold bead about 3 or 4 times, really tight, where it kind of just makes a little dangle. I might have gotten it too tight. Actually, I did. Let me undo that. I've got to leave it a little stretch room for that end of that snowflake. Let me go up just a tad. There we go. Leave a little room, or that snowflake's not going to lay right. It's going to cock to the side if I don't. Oh gosh, I can't, I don't know why I even try these projects anymore. I'm just determined that I'm not giving up until I have to. Then I'm going to keep making stuff until I can't. So, but some of these little fiddly projects get really hard for me now. Okay, can't feel that, but I'm going to kind of straighten that up anyway. Okay, now I'm going to take a, like I said, I know that's got that one little thing on the end, but I think I just want the snowflake on the end. I'm going to take a jump ring, and I want to fairly, these are mixed, so I can't tell where the little small ones are. That one will be okay. I thought I have some small, I do. There's a smaller one right there if I can get one out. There's one right there. And I dropped like 5 on there. Okay. There we go. Now, you're going to find the little opening of your jump ring. And I use 2 of these flat nose pliers. Don't pull a jump ring apart. Twist it front to back. if you pull it apart, it never goes back like you want it to. Then I'm going to thread it on both of these little eyelets of my dangle and my ornament. I said I was going to do it on my ornament when I get it on there. There it goes. And then I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to rotate them back together, and you'll feel or hear a little click when they go back together. This one's really hard for me to see. I can see it's not together though. I've got a weird light coming in here. It's really bright. Okay, there we go. There's the dangle on the bottom. Now let's do something to the background. Now I'm going to put this snowflake, I want this snowflake in the back, and I think I want it a little off center like this. I think I can move the paper back now. I think I want it off center. Let me widen out just a tad because our project's getting a little bit bigger. I think I want it off center, and what my thoughts are is that I want to use the candy cane, and I've cut it in half. Okay, and I want to use it. I'm going to put half of it here and half of it somewhere here, and the reason I cut it was because it was kind of short behind here for how I wanted to do this. Then I want to hide our little gingerbread boy peeking out from behind the gingerbread house, and I think I want to add the little holly up here on the candy cane above. I think I want a cookie coming out somewhere over here. I'm not sure how I want the cookie, but somewhere I think I want a cookie coming out. Then I was kind of thinking maybe I want to add gumdrops and candy and some of the, well, see, I don't want the peppermint. Maybe I want to do gumdrops over here. No, I like the gumdrops better over there. Or maybe I won't add the extra peppermint. I don't know. Or I could go with the small cookie. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of play until I see what I like. Or I could go with the little cookie star and gumdrops. Okay. I still do want, for some reason, I want the snowflake off center, offset a little bit more to the gingerbread side. So, that being said, I need to place, well, I probably need to place this side of the candy cane first. Okay. Get a little bit of hot glue on there. And I'm going to glue that to the back at the angle I want. Oops, some extra hot glue smushed out. Then I want to get some hot glue on this one, and I want to get it in line with that one so that I don't have like a weird looking candy cane. You know, it looks like it's actually behind there and not some crazy weirdness like that, where it's like that. I want to get my holly, and I do want to add some holly. So I'm going to put a little dot of hot glue there, or a big dot. I think I want it about like that. Now, where's my little boy? I've got to squish him around there. He just needs some glue right here on these two little edges, and I'm going to kind of curve him around that candy cane like that, and then I'm going to put a little dot under him to the candy cane so he doesn't slip away. I'm trying to keep this not so messy on the back. I don't know that I'm succeeding, but where it won't be so messy. There, I do like that. Okay, now, if I do the snowflake, I want a little bit of the snowflake showing on this side, but most of it concentrated on that side, like that, about like that. Now I have to decide if I want to use a cookie. That cookie's coming unglued. Let's not use that one. And this one, for some reason, it looks like it needs the edges inked. I don't know if I didn't ink that or I can see white paper around it. Okay, let's hold it like this and see, excuse me, see if we want a little cookie. I do like the little cookie coming out of there, so I'm going to get some glue on this cookie. I don't know what is wrong with me in this glue gun. I'm just going nuts with hot glue here. Kind of let it come out that side. Like that. I like it. Okay. Now, I want to see if I want to do, nothing else is going under there, so I think I'll kind of pull back and get glue in that middle part and get that on here where I want it to hold this snowflake on. See, the back looks pretty finished out now that we've gotten all that on there. And then I'm going to decide if I want to do, ooh, burnt myself. Yes, ma'am, I did. If I want the little other pieces on here. If I want some more candies. I love the gumdrops. I think I want gumdrops for sure. I gotta get a new glue gun. This one's just about had it. Some gumdrops. And I'm trying to decide if I want a star, another cookie star, a cookie, or don't do anything. Let's see. How many elements have I got? That sometimes helps me too. Let me hold it up where I can look at it and see if I like it like that. Whoops. That with all the gluey, gooey gunk. Get all the glue strings off. That's actually pretty cute, just like that. Let me kind of hold it with the, do I like the peppermint? I'm seeing if I want to stack the peppermint somewhere else. Like, do I want to, you know, add it somewhere else? Or do I just need to leave it off? I'm thinking leave that peppermint off. I think I'm done with that one. I think I'll call that one good. Now, while we were waiting, I did another one. This one has a button and a piece of lace. Just a few. Oh, I missed a little bead there. I need to put another bead on it. And I didn't put as many beads. This one's way more decorated than this one is. So what I'm going to do now, the last step on this, is to put your hanger on here. You could use some little tiny cording. I wanted to hang this with some baker's twine, but I don't have any in the color. So all you do is you're going to put your loop through this little hole in the top, and that will be your ornament. So that's beyond the junk journal page. We have our pretty little ornament. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're going to come back. I have another fun little project that we can do with this. I also have a second ornament, and then a little another little treasure that could be something fun. I just love that this looks really vintagey and old-fashioned, and I'm not even sure why I went with untraditional colors of the pink and aqua, but just was calling to me at the moment, something soft and pretty. But I really enjoyed this project. So I'm gonna let you go now, and I'm gonna put another one of these together, and I will be back. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you around the studio.